my dear man.
And welcome to this week's edition of Twin Peaks Unwrapped. I'm your host, Bryon Kozowski. And beside me, as always,
Ben Durant.
Hello, Ben.
Hello, Bryon. Another week of Twin Peaks.
Another week of Twin Peaks. It's like
Christmas every week.
It's like Christmas every week. It's like we haven't left the studio. Yeah, it's like we've been here all week waiting to record the next episode.
Yeah, I just sleep here. And then
I know. I'm wearing the same clothing I wore last week. Nobody can see that because we're on a podcast. So you just use your imagination. So this episode I loved.
It's good. I enjoy it too. It's very stylistic. It's a little. It's like a shock to the system here. We have these very average regular Twin Peaks episodes, and all of a sudden we have these avant-garde stylistic episode here.
I don't want to. I'm just gonna say Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
Diane Keaton.
The Diane Keaton.
The Diane Keaton.
Annie Hall. I mean, I love that movie, Annie Hall, and she is funny and she's goofy and spirit. I just like her. She's wonderful. And I think, hey, she directed this episode.
One episode
of Twin Peaks, episode 22. And it was written by Harley Payton and Robert Angles, Bob Angles. And like we said, directed by Diane Keaton.
I was blown away when I saw the word Diane Keaton. And I was like, oh, must be another relative of Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't thinking. And
Batman.
then when you Batman. And then you say to me, Diane, I'm like, that Diane Keaton?
That Diane Keaton.
Wow.
Yeah, and so and she directed a little bit, but she hadn't done a lot of directing before this and stuff. So, but some people think that she had help with this, but I really think she just did it. I think she knew what she wanted and she went with it.
You know what? I would say, no disrespect to any other the other directors or
like
whatever.
David Lynch, you wouldn't disrespect David Lynch.
No. But if Diane Keaton had to direct season 3 episodes. If they had to pick someone, David Lynch was like, my hair is not right today. I can't go out. I don't know why he's picking on it. I'm picking on his hair. Diane Keaton, call her. Because I felt her style it matched the show at this point. For where the show was going, you know what it reminded me of?
Yeah.
First 10 minutes. Here's an obscure movie for you. Top Secret with Val Kilmer.
Okay.
Top Secret was
80s? Was it from the 80s? I
80s.
don't remember.
It's a comedy. It's a comedy. This movie felt like a spoof. This show, it felt like a spoof. Oh, sight gags. Sight gags galore. Not a galore, but the first 10 minutes I was just like, I feel like I'm watching a spoof movie. Like Top Secret.
But you're liking it. You're liking it.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny you say this, so I can say that I wanted to hear what you had to say about this first, but there's a lot of fans of Twin Peaks that hate this. It's like, oh, Diane Keaton. And I think they don't like that it's so stylistic, that it seems like she basically did what she wanted to do, and...
you know what? The only thing, my only complaint is, and this is going back to last week's episode, and I said, I kind of feel things are giving to us a little too much. It's an overkill with the owls. It's an overkill with things we loved because it was so sporadic. And now it's like we're laying it on thick. This episode did the slow motion fade thing a lot.
Yes.
A lot. And maybe some people were like, okay, we had enough of that.
It's funny, we never talk about like editors. I mean, I think we don't really talk that. It's like a show is not just the director. It's interesting to see. I mean, I didn't look this up, but it'd be interesting to see who edited this episode, because they have the license to kind of do a lot more of these dissolves, and maybe they
got notes from her. I'm assuming she wanted a certain way, but this episode had a lot of the tradition. Like you would get that in a couple episodes that David Lynch did. A couple episodes where it would be like the slow motion, the fade. Almost every scene faded out with this or came into this. It was a very odd choice, but I kind of liked it, and I kind of liked the sight gags, and it was goofy at times, and it was kind of cool, and I really liked it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I mean, I like it, and it's funny. I read and I hear from so many people that don't like this episode, but maybe this is my kind of humor. Like it's funny, but it's almost like a dark humor, and it's like it's not
in your face. You have to really like, what? Why? that's funny. Like I thought some of the stuff was really.
I agree.
I
with
chuckled
you.
to myself.
Right. So getting into this episode, this was aired on February 9th, 1991. The rating was 8.2.
So the ratings did not go up because of Diane Keaton.
No.
No.
But I don't remember when watching this. It wasn't like this week on Twin Peaks. Diane Keaton directs it. Like, so it
but they do that now.
I gotta watch. Yeah, now they do. Now I think they really do push certain directors.
Quentin Tarantino directs ER.
Yeah,
I remember
exactly,
that.
Right,
Yeah,
I remember
that was huge.
Too. That was huge. But now they don't do that. So I mean, nobody knew Diane Keaton probably until you saw the credits that she was directing this and stuff. And so it was 85th place for the week. I think there was 89 shows on that week. So it's definitely at the bottom, unfortunately.
Diane Keaton couldn't pull it out of the dumps.
Yeah. And it opens up with a sequence where you see this giant chessboard and you're like, I love close-ups. And I think that's something that David Lynch does sometimes, but I love that you're panning over this chessboard and it's this extreme close-up. And
yeah, this is very, in my opinion, avant-garde, but it's, I'm not saying it's mirroring or copying David Lynch's style because he's a very distinct style, but it kind of has the same feel. Yeah, like I kind of feel like if you were to have her and him direct a bunch of episodes and mix them up, it would work.
People right now listening to us say blasphemy.
They're probably mad at me, but I'm not saying she's better than him by any means.
Yes,
I'm just saying her style in this episode kind of matched his, mimicking.
I like it. I think it's
mimicking in her own way, though.
Lynch has a slower pace and
a
little
wider, slower.
It'll take the time. It's definitely a different style in some ways, but I'm enjoying this. And there were certain things that were not in the script like this. There was I don't think there was the chessboard close-up panning that was in the script. But so I think Diane, and some people think that she had help, but I think on her own she'd say, "Hey, I think this would be a cool sequence. Let's start with the chessboard."
I don't think people should be so hard on her because that just tells you she must have been a fan of the show,
right?
To do this,
totally.
Someone who's not a fan is gonna be like, "I want to direct a show I hate," so she must have been a big fan. So I mean, to poo-poo on her just seems kind of silly.
Right.
Because she was probably a huge fan, and this was probably a big thing for her.
Yep.
And she probably, you could tell, she poured a lot of thought into this.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't, the last episode, I mean, it was just a generic episode. I mean, nothing special. But
it didn't jump out as this one. This one definitely jumps out saying, hey, this is definitely, somebody else is definitely directing this. And
Yeah. So, I think it's pretty cool. But we shouldn't harp on it too much, but yeah, I like the chess pieces if they feel huge and
There's a big importance here. We know we've got Cooper and we've got Windom Earle, and they're in a chess game, and this is great.
Hammering it home.
And then this close up of Evelyn's feet, and you pan up.
Black stockings.
Yeah, it's a beautiful. I love the close up of that whole thing, and it's a nice shot. So we're back. So we still have Evelyn, who's who's now talking with the police about what happened to her husband, the death of her husband.
And you can tell she's struggling to. It seems like she doesn't really want to say Jane. It's James, and she kind of likes.
She's conflicted. She's definitely conflicted. It's conflicted. So I guess she was beat up by her husband. And it appears that Malcolm
is her
lover, and they plotted this whole thing to kill him.
Use James as the fall guy.
And the fall guy, right.
Yeah.
And I don't think she thinks James is a nice guy, and maybe she does really like him. I don't know if she really loves him, but she really cares about him. And I think she doesn't want to do this, but at the same time, she doesn't want to go to jail for
this. And her
this.
boyfriend's making her. And I love the officers that are taking down the Jaguar. He couldn't spell Jaguar.
Yeah.
So he's like, car. And then when he leaves, the three of them leave together. And this episode, everybody
unison, they're going to get
but everyone is super close to each other. Super close. There are scenes that are uncomfortably close. We'll get to it.
Right.
I noticed that though. And when the cops leave and they have the marching together, they're in unison. It's just weird. It's funny though. I like it. It's cool.
And you and I both know, like, we have some media background that if things look farther apart, when you have people together on camera, they look farther apart. So that means they really had to be close together for us to notice it on the screen.
I know everybody was on top of each other in this episode.
I like that. I like that tight. Like you're like. I feel like you are really there, witnessing the whole thing. So
so here's the other. I feel like I'm watching a top secret spoof.
Yes.
Like I'm watching
James and Donna are at this bar.
The Naked Gun or something.
Yes.
You have a bar with a row of guys who are police officers all smoking cigars, staring off into space.
Yes.
It's so weird.
Right.
But that's what I liked about it. Now, here's what I talked about last week. This comes my conversation from last week to this week. Why would you, if you're the cops are looking for you, they don't know what you look like, they know your name, maybe a loose description, where do you go? The one bar in town?
Yes.
Why?
Well, they do. Well, even Donna and James have this conversation that James is like, I should go back to the house. I should go back and talk to Evelyn.
It's like Dumb and Dumber.
Donna's like, they're gonna be there waiting for you. Why?
But they're here and they
Right.
see a bunch of cops at the bar,
yeah.
and it's like the blind leading the blind,
Right.
And it's like those wheels and the hamsters and the wheels have died.
Yeah.
And them two, they don't know what to do.
So I like it. So James and Donna are like in a corner talking to each other, and in the background is this couple on a chair like cuddled together. But I feel like it's mirroring James and Donna. Like you have Donna and James very intimate, and you have this drawing in the background. I like that. I think it's kind of
And I like how
echoing.
the
really.
bartender keeps interrupting them.
Let's bring it up here.
Marsh, I'm being framed. Can I get you something to say, word?
He had to hear that, heard that.
Right. We can leave it up for a minute while we talk here, but you talk about Naked Gun. I feel like that's a Naked Gun. It's kind of a dark humor.
Yeah.
Where
We can't wait for the cops to catch us.
So we'll hang out here at the bar.
No. I got my only chance to talk to Evelyn, because if she told me that this was all a setup, maybe she'll just tell the police that too. You're sure?
And notice how close he got to her?
Yes.
And that's a running theme.
Yes.
Everybody gets super close. And I love how he's like, are you sure? And he just leaves.
Right, but the funny thing is, like, so he starts out. He's behind the bar at first, and he's like, "Can I get you anything?" And he knows her name and stuff. He's like, "Oh, can I get you anything?" And then he walks away, and you think, "Okay, he's left the scene." And then he comes around behind the bar and asks her again. But it's just like he's coming. He comes.
Around.
Yeah. So I think it's funny. To me, it's like a dark. Like I like the idea of Naked Gun.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the cops are still in the back smoking cigars.
Yeah.
And now, Donna calls his Ed, how did she get here? James could just take a car that he fixed. I don't know. There's so many ways they could leave. And, one of the officers that is looking for James shows up and she quickly changes what she's talking about. And, he's like, gentlemen, to all the officers that happen to be hanging out smoking a cigar. And they're just staring out to space. They're not even talking. And I love it. It's just weird. They're not doing anything.
It's pretty fun. It's funny stuff. It really is. It's yeah. I mean, it's so odd, and I like that bizarre thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want it every single episode, but I like that it's a little quirky. It's a little bizarre. I'm sure you haven't seen this, but TBS has a new show, and it's called Angie Tribeca.
Yes, I watched the entire marathon.
Okay.
I loved it.
I did too, and it's funny because I don't think I like a lot of comedy. I don't like a lot of comedy that can be like dumb or like to me comes off dumb.
But this was a throwback to the old Naked Guns.
Yeah.
And I loved Naked Guns as a kid.
And so it's kind of funny. Like it's like they say something and you're waiting for the punchline, but it's
Top Secret Naked Gun, the Police Squad. Police Squad was the TV show version of Naked Gun.
That's right.
And when I watched Tribeca on TBS, I loved it. I thought it was hilarious.
I don't think I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Maybe I've seen 5 episodes. So maybe is there 10 episodes? Or
yeah,
something like that?
they did a whole binge-a-thon.
Yes,
and I loved it.
I recorded the binge-a-thon, so I'm like seeing behind the scenes where they're talking about the show and then go into the show.
Yeah,
So it's fun.
And that's what this episode reminds me of. The sight gags.
Right.
Yeah.
I can handle an episode like that. It mixes it up a little bit. I mean,
And it's not too much.
Right.
It's not like Tribeca. It's not like one of the, but it's still cool.
Right.
Yeah.
And we talk about X-Files that what we like sometimes about X-Files is that it can mix it up a little bit. You can have a funny episode and then we get to a serious episode. And I feel like Twin Peaks, we could be indulged enough to have Twin Peaks mix it up a little bit.
And the way this series is going right now, it is kind of silly in ways.
Yeah.
It's a little soap opera-ish more than it used to be. It's a little silly. It has some mythology. And I think each character mixes it up a little bit. You can play Lucy and Andy can be weird and funny, and then Shelley and Leo are more like dramatic and stuff.
Yeah,
so that's what's cool about the show.
And now we're at the sheriff's station, and we got Cooper and Truman they have Bobby and Shelley there, and I like that the way they've set it up is the chess pieces are still there in the front foreground, and you have Cooper and Truman.
And that's a very David Lynch kind of like shot.
I think so. It says that close up. Yeah,
it's a faraway shot where they're way out in the back.
Right.
In the foreground is something else, and it looks like a painting. I mean, it has that feel to it.
Yeah.
You know.
And what it's kind of nice is that like. We have Bobby kind of going old school, kind of back to the pilot.
He's a punk again.
He's a punk again. Where has he been? Like he's been like Mr. Suit Guy, and he's been.
He's sucking up. He's sucking up to the people he needs to suck up.
Well, he's not. Yeah,
he doesn't need to suck up to these guys.
Right, and he's kind of like. And I kind of like that. I kind of miss Bobby as kind of like, man, I'm a rebel, and I don't need to talk to you.
I'm gonna smoke cigarettes in the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And he comes out finally and says that, hey, Shelley and I have been together, and we were together before Laura. We've been together after, and that was kind of cool to bring that up. And
it also comes out that he indulges them about who shot. Leo.
Right, Hank. So it was Hank. So yeah, we're kind of putting those pieces together. The police and Cooper didn't realize that Hank had done this.
They thought it was him.
Right.
They thought it was
Bobby.
Bobby, and more things come out this episode too, which I like.
Yeah,
that they're calling back. They're giving us some answers to some mysteries.
Right, and it's kind of cool that like it's kind of like we're looking back and say, okay, it's time to lay everything out and start solving some of these mysteries.
It's kind of cool. I like this. But yeah, Bobby's a punk. They basically say, and he's being sarcastic. Oh, I feel so safe now. They're like, we're gonna put some officers at your house.
Right.
24. Oh, I can
take
do
care
it.
Of Shelley.
Oh, you couldn't.
Leo was after him, and he got beat up by Leo, and then Shelley had to basically stab Leo. So it's kind of funny that like I could take care of Shelley,
and he's too busy hanging out with Ben Horne.
Right.
Yeah, so he couldn't take care of, like...
A fly?
A fly,
Right.
Yeah, I know. He's trying to be Mr. Tough Guy in front of Shelley. Poor Shelley, her arm's in a sling.
Right, and like this is the guy that had all these scams to say like, oh, we're going to get rich off of Leo.
Nothing has worked.
Oh, look who is back, Albert.
I know.
And I missed him.
I was happy.
Get a life, punk. Bring up some audio. I love this guy.
This is why I like this episode so much.
Looking good, Horne.
Look at he hugs it out with Truman. I love that.
Yeah. Gentlemen. What you got?
My invite back to Twin Peaks. Windom Earle. Direct orders from Gordon Cole.
Windom Earle.
As he so succinctly put it,
I'm worried about Coop.
That was a great impression, too.
It's so nice to have him back. He's been gone for a while, huh? I mean...
And Windom Earle, with that mustache, looks like a classic villain.
Yes,
he looked like some villain that was generic.
He needed the mustache to twirl a little
bit,
and then he could kind of hold it and rub it and say,
with a trench coat and a hat, and he would have been this like classic villain.
Yes, but it's cool to have the actor back. I believe. I can talk about this maybe next week too, but I think the actor who played Albert was busy on another series, and so there wasn't always time. Whenever they could get him, they would bring him back to the show and stuff. But we'll probably talk more about that next week. So now they're talking about Carolyn and about the whole involvement with Windom Earle, and
yeah, and he's giving the clues. Now it shows a big letter C. Windom Earle is sending stuff to these
Carol. C for Carol.
Oh, that was a C for
Carolyn.
Cooper.
I think it's for Carolyn.
I guess, that makes sense. I thought it was for Cooper, but that makes sense that he's calling it out.
Yes. Sesame Street, the letter C is today's, yeah.
Yeah. I thought saying Cooper, I'm going after you, Cooper.
Right.
That's what I thought it was.
No, well, especially because they have pictures of like the wedding dress.
Yeah, the wedding dress. That makes sense.
Everything is connected to Carolyn.
Carol, yeah.
And he talks, so they're basically laying it all out.
Yeah, and the map was underneath the table, and so Albert has all the clues.
Right.
That's been, and like he's like the only person he's coming after.
Yeah, we'll bring up
you.
some more audio because this is so good.
he's making his move. Most definitely. Oh, Coop, about the uniform.
Yes, Albert?
Replacing the quiet elegance of the dark suit and tie with the casual indifference of these muted earth tones. It's a form of fashion suicide, but call me crazy. On you, it works.
I love that. I love that.
I love it too. I mean, I think I shared with you. I think David Lynch hated that Cooper was not wearing his suit, but I liked it. I thought it was fun.
Yep. And so here's the first slow motion dissolve, which you're going to see a lot of those.
Yeah, and they had some before at the earlier too, where we had the sawmill, and even though we don't even have a sawmill, I guess that was for where Windom Earle is. But he's playing the flute some more.
Oh, in the flute, and it's clearly just the music.
Yeah.
And it's him just like lip syncing to the. And he looks like a tree fairy.
He does. I agree.
Like, yeah, like
a nymph or whatever.
Yeah, from Narnia.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he should have like animal legs. So he has a collar on, which is a shock collar. But for a guy who's in a cabin, he sure gets his information.
Yes.
There's no internet at the time. There's no internet.
Well, I mean, there is.
I mean, he doesn't have access.
How do we? I don't know. He might.
But he's got a paper with Leo's mugshot.
There was no World Wide Web, but there was internet.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, I don't think he has access to the internet here.
We'll have to find out.
Yeah. Oh God, I hope not. So, but he
I don't
has.
want to spoil anything. He might have internet.
All right, he has all this information on Leo.
Yes.
And he has his flute, and he talks about how the samurais, they took the weapons away, and it's becoming, he uses to beat them.
Yeah, he uses his flute as a weapon now.
And Leo has become like this, like he barely can speak. He doesn't know what's going on, but he can walk. And he knows
he can say a couple words here and there. Soap and Shelly,
new boots,
bad girl, new boots, new shoes.
That's what it was. And he puts a shock collar on him.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, Leo could easily take a shock collar off of him, but he doesn't.
I don't know if he's smart enough
I
to
don't
realize
think so.
this.
And it's pretty demonic when he uses it. It really puts him out.
And the funny thing is, it's really amazing in some ways. I feel a little sorry for Leo, and it's like this is the guy that beat his wife, and then
I don't feel sorry for him.
Okay, you don't feel sorry,
No,
but maybe
I don't.
I have a little sympathy for him, even though he is a horrible guy.
Well, I don't think anybody should go through what I like how he's being called a cat. He's meow. He makes him eat his gruel, and he's like purr, purr, and he's purring at him. It's so, so serial killer. It's so horror movie.
Yes. I mean, I think this is for us to realize, for the audience to realize, is this is a really evil guy.
Yeah.
And if he's doing this to Leo, what is he going to do next with Cooper?
Or someone else.
Or somewhere else, yeah.
But it is kind of funny. He does a good purring, though. I do like his purring. It's pretty cool. We come back to
Big Ed and Norm.
They're
in bed.
They're in bed. They're talking pretty much how they've liked each other.
20 years.
They wish they could have been in each other's lives for Christmases and birthdays.
Yeah.
And they're regretting it, and they're finally together.
Right.
And then Nadine comes home.
Yes.
And I love the fact that Nadine hops in bed with them and talks about how she came in second place for a wrestling tournament because they disapprove of her flying, her flying elbow or whatever it is, her flying thing. And it's very awkward. Norma's just kind of like, this is awkward.
Yes.
But Nadine, how cool is it that Nadine comes out and says, I know about you two.
Right.
Well, duh. You guys are in bed together with no shirts on, and I'm okay with it.
Yes.
And she goes, it makes it less awkward because me and Mike are hot and heavy.
Yes.
But clearly they're not. But she thinks
I think she wants to make Big Ed jealous, or she wants to say, like,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm fine with it because I've got my own love interest and stuff. Yeah. It's funny, we were talking about Angie Tribeca, and the main character actress is her mom is Norma, the woman who plays Norma in real life. Another connection.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't.
That's Rashida Jones's mom.
Right, in real life.
Real life.
Yes.
Wow.
It's funny. There was a commercial several months ago where.
Yes, they were in it, and people on Twitter, Rashida Jones and her mom, or the commercial, and people were on Twitter were going, "That is not your real mom." And she
Right,
goes, "No, that is
young. She's too young to be her mom." And then and she tweets back like, "That is my mom in real life."
Yeah, I know.
But it's funny that there was a whole outrage in saying, "Why can't they make moms to be the right age?" And it's sexist or it's age discrimination. And then for her to come out and say, "That is my real mom." I mean,
yeah. You guys are being idiots.
Yes.
God, fake outrage on the internet.
Peggy Lipton is the actress's
Wow.
name. And so you've seen more episodes than I have of Angie Tribeca.
Yeah.
I think she's actually in an episode. Am I wrong?
She could be. I mean,
Okay,
I haven't
gotten
seen
to
all of
that.
them, but I've seen
I
a lot.
You saw all 10 or something.
Not all 10. I've seen maybe 8 or 9.
Okay,
I mean,
so I think I only heard that I think Peggy Lipton is in an episode. So
if she showed up, though, I might not recognize her.
right, it's and their gags are pretty quick too. So who
Yes.
knows how quick the scene was? She could have been a walk by thing. But I'm still watching it, and I'll have to get to that because I'm pretty sure she was in.
Well, now,
in a scene.
I'll have to check out the episode.
Yeah. So, yeah, we talked already about Nadine and how she's comfortable. She's all right with Big Ed and Norma.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to it. So she's happy. I'm happy that kind of plot line. I'm happy for Ed and happy for Norma.
Right.
So they do the slow motion yet again to give us Josie, and she's very uncomfortable being kind of not interrogated, but
She's questions, things aren't adding up, and Truman is trying to find out, Harry Truman's trying to figure out, what's going on. We know that Jonathan is dead, and we're trying to understand, you basically said you got away from him. Did you get away from him by killing him, or what's going on?
That's what I want to say. We didn't talk about this when it first came out in the paper.
Yeah.
Asian man killed.
Right.
Why is that so generic? And I think that was brought up later on or last episode. But Asian man killed.
Right. Why wouldn't it be a person's name, or it does come off? Does it come off racist? It comes off a little
not racist, but it comes off very
distasteful.
Distasteful.
Yeah.
Asian.
Why don't it just be man?
Killed.
Or something.
But why
like
would because a white guy wouldn't be like white man killed.
Caucasian killed.
Caucasian killed.
Caucasian man killed.
So I thought that paper. Whoever is the editor of the paper does a horrible job.
It was probably the Twin Peaks Gazette.
Yes. Yes.
They're not. They don't have a big staff.
No, it's like one person.
They had a rush job, and it's like. We don't know much about this man, but we know he was an Asian, so let's.
It was a big
and then,
day.
Cooper is investigating the coffee, and he smells it, and I'm sure he's hoping there's no fish in the percolator.
Yes.
So,
In this scene, it's very. I'll go back to the way it's framed. It's one shot.
Right. It's
one
framed
shot,
like a picture.
Like a picture.
Right.
And you have Cooper, and then
Pete there.
Pete comes back with all this.
I think it's Josie's coats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it so happens to be coat. It's so funny. It happens to be coats.
I love one takes. Like this is all one take, and
with the door swinging.
Swing the door, and this was not in the script. This is something again that Diane Keaton did.
I
on
liked
her own.
it.
I love
liked
it.
a lot, yeah.
And that way, I like too that it's swinging doors and they have windows, so you see Pete in one
and Cooper in the other.
in the other one, and it's it's beautiful. I love this kind of stuff.
I think she did a great job.
Yeah.
Honestly, and this is something we haven't seen in an episode in a long time.
Yeah,
either,
this kind of just stylistic.
And it took a long time to give us to cut away to an over the shoulder shot.
Right.
And so this is kind of like, ooh, some evidence fell into Cooper's hand.
Right.
And he
It's like-
takes some sample of the
Yeah,
coat.
of her coats, yeah.
And he takes the gloves. And this is, for me, was
He's a
just
good
like,
deputy. I think that they should give him a raise there as part of the. He's no longer an FBI agent, but he's doing a good job.
yeah,
as
why did he have the tweezers and the baggie on
he
hand?
always just keeps it? He probably had
utility
it when he was
belt?
FBI. Yeah,
Is Batman? Is Cooper a utility belt? It's coffee, tweezers, and a baggie
Yeah.
at all times.
all it does. Yes. So Josie gets a phone call. I believe it's from
Well, it's from that old guy.
Eckhardt. I think. it's from.
Eckhardt, yeah. He's
Yes.
like, I'm glad I found you. I'm another evil man with my glasses.
Right. The reflection there of the.
I wear my glasses inside. It's so weird. But Kathleen's on the other end.
Oh yeah, she's listening. We can. Oh, there's the owl again. We got another. Picture.
See?
Yeah.
The
I
owls
missed
are
that one. I
everywhere.
don't think I saw that owl before.
Yeah. I love that.
She's run back to Captain Martel. I'm so disappointed.
So he's speaking. So they have a whole conversation and
Speaking Africans.
Yes,
Not
I can tell you
Africans.
from the script what they're saying.
And the weird sound effect when he took off the glasses like a whip,
Right.
we hear that later on with a weird sound effect. I'm gonna bring that up too. It's very bizarre, but I liked it.
So in the script, we don't know what they're saying, at least unless you can speak that language.
Yeah.
But in the script, Eckhardt, let's see if I can find my notes here. Eckhardt says she's become so predictable, and Jones, his assistant, says, "I warned you not to trust her." So that's at least in the script what they were saying.
Okay.
Like that. I mean, whatever they're saying, they
shouldn't have trusted her.
I think we can understand that they're not happy and they're having some kind of conversation. The next thing we see is we're back to Ben Horne. He's got a mule that it's not a real mule, but he's laying down on a mule's back.
Yep.
We haven't seen in a while is Audrey's brother.
That's who it was?
Johnny. Yeah. It's been
Okay.
a while since Johnny
Yeah,
is dressed up as a Native American Indian and stuff like that.
And he had the headdress on.
I think right in the beginning of the first season there, he was,
He was younger, though, wasn't he?
Some people say it's a different actor, so I don't know if
It could have been.
it might be a different actor who played him now.
I wasn't sure who he was. I totally forgot about that.
The son, the brother of Audrey.
Wow.
I know, and I told you before, there was a storyline originally that it was going to be like, did Audrey push him down the stairs accidentally? And there was a whole idea that he was going to help figure out who killed Laura Palmer, and they just did away with that. And I think you said it before that they didn't need to go there.
No, they didn't.
I would like to have seen something more with him. I think it would have been fun to have this character, this brother, and So I mean, I'm always intrigued by this.
It's kind of cool that the whole family's involved.
Yeah.
With his little I don't know, midlife crisis.
Midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Or I mean, I think it's some kind of rehabilitation. I think. You know? And now we even got like drummers
in, and it sounds like they're gonna put on some sort of play to really ramp it up to get him to kind of snap out of it.
Yeah, and I think the thinking is that like if the South can win the war, it will cure him.
Sort of like what you mentioned about the sword. You felt like before if he gave him the sword, it would have snapped him out, but he didn't take it.
Right. So several episodes ago, Ben was basically saying, "Oh, you surrender to Bobby," and Bobby had the sword, and he didn't give the sword to Ben, and he's just like Ben has his hands shaking, wanting the sword. And I do wonder, like, if he had done it back then, would he have just snapped out of it? But,
that's
maybe
a good thought.
Ready. I don't know.
like that theory. Yeah. So here's another awkward. You have Audrey and Jerry having a private conversation, but for Uncle, to be related, they're very close. This is another close.
Yeah.
They're super close.
I didn't think of it as...
No, not like a sexual way, but I'm just saying they're so close and like so affectionate.
Right.
But I just noticed that through this, like she gets closer to him.
Yeah.
It's like, is she flirting with him?
Right.
But that's her uncle.
I don't think I think it's a power trip. Like she's basically saying, I'm gonna take over the business, and Jerry's like, no, I want to take over the business. There seems to be that, but I feel like television, especially in the '90s and before we had widescreen big TVs, it should be close-ups. We need to have close-ups because back in the day we couldn't see everything.
Yeah,
and you needed to have those intimate moments.
But I'm just saying, like everybody gets to see, and then she gets really close with Jacoby. Like everybody is so on top of each other. And it's just interesting. I just noticed this. Maybe I just noticed it more.
No, I definitely think it's in this episode.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. So, like, she gets there, and then Bobby will show up, and he gets super close. See, like, it's like
they're on top of each other.
All on top of each other.
Right. And they're all lined up together. But
it's comical.
Right, yeah. And you got the drummers all lined up together. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
That kind of organization of And then we have Bobby now dressed up.
He's protecting Shelley, dressed up as an old-time Civil War
Why is he there? Why is he here?
He's a bugler.
Shouldn't he be there to help Shelley out? Why does he have time for that?
I don't know.
Oh, why don't we bring up some audio for a sec?
Old times there are not forgotten. Look away, look away.
We got Johnny.
Look away.
He's just going crazy.
I wish.
Yeah. So, another, He gives us
We're back to Evelyn there
Evelyn,
at the bar.
and there's an owl on the bar.
Oh, yeah, I missed that.
See,
I don't think I even
the
saw
owls
that.
are just scattered.
Right.
Are like watching everywhere.
Yes. And then there's this drawing, this painting in the background where now I think it's the same couple that we saw before, but their backs are against each other as though they've had conflicts.
Yep.
And to me, that's like the relationship they're in right now. Evelyn is on the outs with James.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very well. I didn't get that, but very good. I did not pick that up.
so,
But
again,
it's Donna.
Evelyn and Donna.
Donna shows up. And then
we have Malcolm there, and it's funny, now Malcolm's kind of rough with Evelyn now. Like, it's funny, as she seems like she's gone from one abusive relationship to another. Evelyn there, yeah. And then even Malcolm's manhandling Donna,
and he's super close to her too.
Right.
And he's getting like it's horrible. Like this guy is obviously mean.
He's like, I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah,
Donna.
I'll kill you. If I ever see you again, I'll kill you. Why does everybody keep going back to this one bar?
Yes. There's nothing else here.
I guess. It's a bar in her house.
Yeah.
It's a bar in her house.
And Donna's crying.
Oh. And Donna's just like, why can't I be back at Twin Peaks and have a real plot?
So Albert basically has discovered that it is the same. The fiber from the coat matches the fiber.
My mind was blown.
Yep.
That shot. The person who shot Cooper, which we never found out.
Right.
Could be Josie. Could.
Right.
What would be the motives? Do you know? Without ruining anything for me. I mean, if I were to say that she shot Cooper while he's law enforcement, he's at the lodge. The lodge is going to, there's going to be a fire at the sawmill.
Right.
We got to get Cooper out of the, we got to get Cooper because he knows too much. So Josie plan could be, I'll shoot Cooper, he'll die, and law enforcement's out, because everything else is going on. I mean, that's why I don't know her motive beyond, Cooper, he's too smart of a guy. He can figure it out.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely learn more about
But she doesn't seem to type.
Right. It seems out of place, right?
Does. But she did hire Hank to kill her husband.
Right.
So for her to go
innocent.
shoot... But she didn't actually physically do... she hired someone else to do that.
Right.
So would she hire someone else to kill Cooper?
Yep.
Would that be a better question, I guess?
Yeah. And did you ever think about who could have shot Cooper back in the time?
Oh my God, I forgot all about that because the
Right.
giant takes the place of that in my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Right.
What's the giant trying to say? You're right. We never tackled that.
Right. And it's funny to think that it's been at least 16 episodes since he's been shot and stuff. And still that's, in Twin Peaks time, that's a little over 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it seems like a lifetime ago, that whole storyline.
And they didn't build it up it's like who shot JR?
Right.
Who shot Agent Cooper?
Right. And they built it up for the summer only to find him on the ground and kind of move on. And
then we never find out who shot him.
Right. And now maybe we are.
Yeah. And I like how he says not a word until we find out. He doesn't want to have...
He doesn't want to hurt Harry Truman there unless he's positive that that's what's
going on.
Yeah,
you don't want to... you know what? He's being a good detective, unlike Andy and Dick, who just kind of come out and say, no, Little Nicky killed his parents. He's an animal.
We have no real evidence.
Yeah, so you have Cooper on the other spectrum going, we don't have evidence. We don't want to say anything until we know for sure.
So we get more information about that body that they found in, Windom Earle killed, that actually his last name is Powell, and we learned that Carolyn's maiden name was Powell.
But no relation.
No relation, but I guess, so Windom Earle is picking people to kill, somehow related, related to Cooper.
And that looks like Cooper.
Yeah, it looks like Cooper. It happens to be Kyle MacLachlan's brother. Yes.
Yeah.
So, it's that's where they are with with that case there.
Yeah. Also, they still have the chessboard there.
Yeah.
The chessboard's always making an appearance.
Especially in this episode. We see a lot of chess in this episode from the beginning and throughout.
Yeah.
We want to bring up some audio?
Sure.
I'd never beat him, Harry.
Coop, if you got a need for a chess expert, we got one of the best right here in town.
And at first I thought it was going to be him.
Oh, yeah?
No. It comes... Who was the chess expert?
Pete Martell.
Pete Martell.
I think he's playing like 3 players at once.
Yes. And I got all laughing. It went from super serious to goofy. They're all laughing, eating pie, drinking coffee. Now, notice the ice cream cone over his shoulder?
Yes.
That's going to come into play in a little bit, which I find it to be hilarious. Oh, no, she has ice cream cone in her hand. Never mind.
Norma's taking
Norma has a gigantic ice cream cone, which is just weird. So it's funny that they're like, we need to play chess. No pieces go missing.
Let's try and get a stalemate. Let's try to make it so that we don't lose them up. But there really is no
I was thinking about that.
Chess, really. I mean,
well, there is a stalemate. You can win by stalemate, but without any pieces going away.
Yeah.
Is that possible?
No. I mean, you're going to lose pawns at least.
Yeah. I mean, stalemates can, and I like the putting down of the piece, and then you see the checkered floor.
Yeah, like it looks like a chessboard on the Double R diner floor there.
So, let me bring this up.
What happened?
So,
Are you okay?
Shelly comes back to the diner and talking to Norma.
Come right over, but with Hank gone, it's been a madhouse.
You hear the rubbing? The cartoon rubbing? They're cleaning this gigantic
ice cream cone.
Oh
no! Are you saying this is an innuendo that I?
No.
That's gotta seem like.
First of all, they're cleaning a gigantic ice cream cone on the floor.
Yes.
And when they put their scrubber on it, you hear, and it sounds cartoonish.
Oh yeah.
Just like the whipping of the glasses off of the guy's head.
Yeah. But we do. You and I know that they do Foley.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking
they added that in.
Oh yeah, I think it was funny. And I noticed that I'm like, but why are they cleaning this on the floor?
Yes.
Why is it making it squeaky noise?
They need an intimate moment here.
But this just to me says more. It's just weirdness, and I love it. And then another scene, they're very close talking.
Yeah, Truman and Norma are close. Again, we have the door, and we only see them through the window, and I like that. And then you get you kind of push in, and you kind of just see them talking, and
they're
I think
so close. It's like I thought they were gonna kiss. I thought
Truman's saying that Hank is going to go to jail for a long time.
And she's
I think Norma's like, good. Yeah. Finally, I'm done with it.
I thought, I'm like, oh no, is there another affair going on?
Yeah.
I thought, that's how close they're talking. I thought they were going to kiss. I thought they're like, I loved you. Josie's going away.
Yeah.
We can be together now. I didn't know.
I'm better than Big Ed.
Yeah. I didn't know where that conversation was going.
Yes.
Anything's possible.
Josie opens the door to see Eckhardt there, and Eckhardt's come for dinner.
Yeah, this is an awkward scene.
Yeah.
Eckhardt's having dinner with Kathleen and basically talking about the future of Josie.
Yes.
If he's going to take her.
Right.
And it's so wrong. It's like she's a slave.
Yeah.
And it's so horrible. This whole scene is so sinister between the two. And he kisses her hand.
Right.
And he goes, then it made it sound like maybe they were something. Because he's like, oh, I miss that smell.
Yeah.
I miss the taste of her.
Right.
And that made me think, I'm like, oh, gross. Yet again, was he?
I feel like we've already learned this. And we haven't. I feel like I can bring this up because I don't think it's important to us. But I think it comes out that she might have been a prostitute and stuff like that. So and I think when
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think she was in Hong Kong and she was with him in Hong Kong, and Eckhardt and Andrew were partners. They worked together. And Eckhardt was the Hong Kong distributor, and Andrew was here in Washington State, and they worked together. And so I feel like Eckhardt, they had a business deal where also Josie was involved with I feel like Andrew kind of came back with his bride there from Josie from Hong Kong and stuff. So Josie is complicated. She's complicated in the sense that we think about the secret diary of Laura Palmer. She seemed like she might be a lesbian. She had feelings. She came on to Laura and stuff.
In the book.
I never see this in the show.
In the show, it's totally opposite. You never see her hit out on a female.
Right, but she seems complicated. Like she's,
And also, I like how Kathleen and Eckhardt are eating the worst part of a pig's head. Yet again, another weird thing. A pig's head. Who says I really want to eat a pig's head?
Yes.
Now,
we're back with Evelyn.
Evelyn, and she's blowing smoke rings
in slow-mo.
In slow motion, and it kind of brings me back to the ceiling fan. brings me back to different moments in the show.
Yeah.
It's just weird that she's blowing smoke rings in slow motion. It's kind of a cool shot.
Yeah.
But why? This is kind of cool, though. I liked it.
And James is back because I can't figure it all out.
He forgot to pack his boxers.
Want to bring up some audio?
Yeah.
No, I got it. It was Malcolm. Oh, yeah, he made you do it, right? You better tell me a story, Evelyn, because I'm all mixed up, and I just want to know why you would do this to me.
I'm all mixed up.
What did you expect? An apology? A hidden heart of gold? I did it all, James. I did everything. I found you, I lured you in, and I kept you here while Malcolm planned a nice, neat little frame.
Why?
For the money. Out of fear. Because I wanted to do it. It's not exactly what you wanted to hear, is it, James? The truth hurts, doesn't it?
I think she's doing this because she cares about him, but she's saying it so it's easier for him to hate her.
Yeah. It's funny there's kind of this love music going on. And I always kind of wanted her to be a little bit more darker. Like, I always wanted her to be... She's
I mean, it was pretty dark. She killed her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess I never really saw the manipulation. Like, I mean, she's saying she did, and I feel like Malcolm had a lot of involvement.
It didn't play out like a typical...
Yeah.
Like a typical show would play it out. You're right.
Or I don't know. Yeah.
And they kiss, and that shows that she likes him, and she's saying all this stuff like, leave me, go away. Because she knows her crazy boyfriend Malcolm's gonna go after her. It reminded me of a classic episode, the classic movie Harry and the Hendersons.
Oh,
when John Lithgow is
going?
yelling at Harry to leave, and he goes, "Leave us, you big! We hate you!" And he's trying to get the Bigfoot to leave. So the FBI won't come. So that's what it reminded me of Harry and the Hendersons.
And Malcolm basically hits him over the head, and all it takes is one hit, and and James is out.
Well, he's a few ants short of a picnic anyway, so one hit, that's all it takes.
And now they're scheming to basically say that he broke in and
he attacked her and she's going to shoot him.
And now we have these really close up. It makes me think of almost Blue Velvet. We're like in this hay, really like buried in it, and then we come up and there's the dress of Audrey there, and she's like looks like Little Bo Peep or something.
Yeah, we're in a play. We're in West Side Story. And it's so funny. Because this is premeditated play, like okay, we're gonna have a play with him, we're gonna really act this out,
right?
And basically, they acted out to get him out of this funk,
right? Ben Horne and his Civil War reenactment. Well, yeah,
the Civil, and basically they signed the papers, and Bobby's like, didn't the North win?
Right.
And all of a sudden, he signs the papers and everything, and he stands up. And he falls down, and they're like, "Oh my God, you all right?" And he wakes up. He comes out of it, and it's like Wizard of Oz.
It is a little bit like Wizard of Oz,
because he's like, "You were there, and you were there," and I was just like, "Oh my God, he's Dorothy.
Yes.
He's Dorothy." And they're all gathered around him like Dorothy was.
Yeah, and I feel like you think about Wizard of Oz, I feel like there was always a message there too that like Dorothy didn't really appreciate the life she had until she went on her journey to Oz and stuff.
So maybe and I like how he's like, "Why are you guys all dressed like that?" And they're like, "Ha ha ha ha." Like they could have like froze and cut to like end of the show like a sitcom. Like it would have been the big laugh.
Right.
Why you guys?
Maybe they would jump up and
And I love this scene.
You have the Confederate flag.
The Confederate flag falls in between him and Jacoby having a conversation, which is very humorous.
Yes.
And when Jacoby comes through the door, he trips over the chair. It's all very comical.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell this is not well rehearsed.
Yes.
This is just, we're going to do this the best we can.
Let's just get through this.
But it's cool. I liked it. It's very humorous. Everything's very, like, looks like a public access show.
At the same time, like, I mean, how much money did it take for them to get the sets? They have to get some people to build the sets, and
yeah, this is yet again the wonkiness of this show has become. There's no logic. Just enjoy.
Right. We'll bring up some audio here.
Yeah.
Give him some room.
Where am I?
He's Dorothy.
Where am I?
Twin Peaks, Ben.
Kansas.
Oh.
There's no place like home.
Yeah.
I had the strangest.
You were there. And you. And you. It was incredible. There was a war. And I was General Robert E. Lee. And somehow, in spite of incredible odds, I won.
Now you're home, Daddy.
Yes.
Attaboy.
That's so cool. Yeah, and I like how it's just very like comical. But I'm glad Ben Horne's back because we can get out of this.
Yes,
it
seems like they're wrapping up some storylines.
Yeah,
I mean, definitely coming to the end here.
I think this thing has gone on a little too long, but it was cool. Now this is where Windom
Earle
Earle turns into the classic villain.
Yes.
He's
got a mustache on.
The mustache
he's got
with
an
the
outfit.
curlies.
Yes.
Yeah, he looks like
we were
used
talking
car
about
salesman.
it before about him having a curly mustache,
And now he has one.
And he's got Leo writing something, and
yeah, he's having Leo write some sort of letter that he can mail to someone because he looks like he wants to kidnap either Shelley, Donna, or Audrey. Where did he get these photos? Yet again.
Yes.
He doesn't have access to the internet. Did he go somewhere? I mean,
I think so. Yeah, I think in the script it doesn't. It's on the TV show, but I think in the script they were surveillance photos, and I'm not sure if Leo got them. I don't feel like Leo's left, so I feel like he got them from somebody else. So I don't know if he hired somebody, but I feel like in the script
he has connections.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the show here, it almost looks like what do you say? Like actors. Shots for and stuff like that. But
for a guy who hasn't left the cabin, who's in hiding, he goes to Kinko's a lot to get these photos. So, like, where's he getting this stuff from?
In the script, I think it was a surveillance, so I don't know if he's got connections.
He had him before. He had him before. But why would he know any of these people were connected to Cooper?
But he's been plotting this. He's supposed to be plotting this for several weeks. We knew, like I said, at the beginning of the season, Albert said that you're
in trouble.
Yeah, your partner has escaped the loony bin. So excuse me, he's been planning this out.
And he looks like Dudley Do-Right.
Oh, yeah.
And he's ready to put one of the ladies on train tracks and tie them up.
And he's teaching Leo how to write.
And he says, "Who's going to be my queen?" Yes. Who's going to be my queen? Because that means, to me, someone's going to die. The queen will die. Because if he gets the queen, he wins.
Yes.
Right?
Well, yeah, possibly, right? In chess, I mean, well, the king is the one that you want to get, but the queen is second. I mean, that's probably one of the best pieces of chess.
I would consider in this game, Cooper and him are the kings, right? They're the kings.
Yep.
The queen is the most dangerous piece because the queen can go anywhere. The queen can do any move in chess where the king can't. So the queen, once you get rid of the queen, you wound the king, and you're best getting the king. And if you think about it, each one of those ladies, if he were to hurt any of them, that would hurt Cooper. He would personally take that, especially Audrey.
Especially Audrey.
I think if he picks Audrey, that would be the linchpin. Shelley, not so much. Donna, does anybody care about Donna? I don't know.
Right.
Shelley, maybe Shelley, but Audrey, if that's the person he ends up picking,
right,
that would hurt Cooper a lot.
Yeah, and it's funny looking at the picture of Audrey. It looks like a picture from the first season. Like she hasn't had hair like that since probably the pilot.
Yeah, and she looks a little chubby in the face, so she looks different. And the photos look like someone ran by them and just took real quick photos of them. Like, what? Like, Shelley looks surprised. Like, I just woke up.
Yes.
Who are you?
Right.
Like, these were definitely not from a security camera. They were not from a security camera.
And I think in the script, Leo also had like hearts. I don't know if he was doing Valentine's, but he also had like hearts, and like think the pictures of the girls were in hearts. Of course, this isn't canon. This is in the script.
Yeah,
but the script had like little hearts of each girl and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And like he writes some nonsense, and he has Leo, even though Windom Earle's fingerprints are all over this envelope, he has Leo lick it.
Yes.
The fingerprints are all over. They know it's Windom Earle.
Yeah, they know it's Windom Earle. It's
Who
not like
cares?
the fingerprints. Oh, it's Windom Earle. It's funny. Even like I think when he was in the station there, and they put the dead body, Windom Earle left it. It's like Cooper's like, oh, you're not going to find fingerprints. And I don't know if it's in the script or in the show.
No,
but
in the show he said that. He goes, you're not going to find anything.
Right. And I think in the script they may have said something about footprints as well. And in the script he said, oh, he wear different shoes, so he wouldn't tell. And it's like, what does it matter?
Yeah.
He's escaped the loony bin, and even if you know it's him. So,
so fingerprints wouldn't matter.
Right.
And clearly he just touched that envelope like a madman. Like it was like, manhandling the paper and everything.
Yeah.
And so now we're going back to
Evelyn and Malcolm, and they're plotting to frame James, and Donna comes busting in.
Donna.
No, James,
we need to go back to Twin Peaks.
Right. It's like Malcolm's like, oh, this is getting a lot messier. Now we gotta kill Donna, and I think he wants
Evelyn,
to
do it.
Evelyn
no, he wants to kill Donna.
Oh, yeah.
Because give me the gun, I'll do it. He has this. He's a nut job, and you can tell Evelyn's just like, I'm in too deep.
Yeah.
This is not what I signed up for.
We'll bring up some audio because it looks like we're wrapping this up here.
I can't do this, Malcolm.
I will.
Oh.
It kind of makes me think of Maddie's death a little bit, like the slow-mo.
Yeah, and it does that growling noise.
Yeah.
Because when Malcolm is talking, he sounds demonic before.
Right.
And Malcolm's shot.
But now, now Evelyn's going to kind of figure out, like, he was crazy, he killed Jeffrey, came back to kill me. So she's still plotting in her head how she's going to get out of this.
She doesn't want to go to jail.
Right.
But I got my gun and I shot him.
Right.
I shot him till he was dead. I love that one.
The funny thing is, I think she only shot him once. He was like, it was right in the chest.
Stomach,
Stomach, right.
So, it's kind of a callback. It's like this demonic sounding. It's slow motion.
Yeah.
And it's like Bob.
It did, it got a little sense of that.
Yeah, a little sense of that old.
He's not Bob, and it's outside of Twin Peaks, but it's still.
He's an evil guy.
So Cooper is at the elevator, and he's just waiting for the elevator, and he takes out a picture of Carolyn from his wallet.
Yep.
And he's admiring it. And he's like, Carolyn,
I miss you.
Yep. And walk out of the elevator is Windom Earle in disguise. He looks at Cooper, he's like, oh, he doesn't see me. And
my God. And owls on postcards.
Right. Postcards. Oh, bring it up for a second.
Owls.
Owls.
Right.
And he looks like Benny Hill. He looks like Benny Hill with a costume on. Like he should be chased by a bunch of bikini-clad women.
Now, in the show there, Cooper didn't notice him at all. He was clueless. He didn't even notice that Windom Earle was there.
Oh, so they kind of played it like...
Kind of like, oh, Windom Earle can secretly go around, move around. In the script, it says, meanwhile, Cooper steps through the lobby after a long day. He walks past Earle in hiding and continues. Then he reacts as if he felt someone eyeing upon him. Cooper turns, takes a look, but there's no one to be seen. Earle has moved on. So in the script, there's still this Cooper where he's kind of like, I felt his presence. You know what I mean?
That's interesting how they ignored that.
Yeah, I don't know. They decided they didn't. Yeah, they decided that Windom Earle was so clever in disguise that Cooper wouldn't notice him.
It was the eyebrows.
It was the eyebrows.
He dyed his eyebrows black
and
the mustache and the eyebrows.
And so this episode ends with Cooper going back to his room, and there on his bed.
Yes, creepy ending. I like that.
Creepy ending.
It's the mask that we saw in the beginning of the episode.
No, we didn't see any mask in this episode.
The white mask was in the beginning. Oh.
Not in this one. Nope. So it's just.
Oh, yeah, that was. Sorry.
That's right. So, but yeah, so I mean,
I'm confused.
That's all right. But there's it looks like it's lit up. It's like just a mask. And I don't think it's a spoiler. I think it's supposed to be Carolyn's face.
Yeah.
I think.
That's
it's hard
what I was
to tell,
thinking.
but. And then as soon as he gets it, it activates the tape recorder.
Caroline. Funny, isn't it? After all this time, after all that happened in Pittsburgh, I still love her. And I know that you do too. Now, Dale, listen carefully. It's your move.
And that was a cool ending.
Yeah, and we have Cooper looking in the mask, and we see just the eyes of Cooper through the mask.
That's our third time getting something like that, where you're looking through something else to see somebody.
Yeah.
And that ending felt like an old Twin Peaks cliffhanger to me.
True.
It had that
Right.
feel,
Yeah.
right? And full disclosure, the reason I said it's like the mask in the beginning, we by accidentally watched the first couple of minutes of the next episode, and I didn't realize it. So that's why I put it. I know. But I haven't seen the next episode, so I don't even know where this is going. But the mask, it was cool. It's creepy.
It is
It's
creepy.
mysterious.
Right.
That episode, I think Diane Keaton did a great job.
I think she did a great job.
Help or not,
Right.
we'll never know, but I'll give her the full credit and
Yeah.
say that was a cool episode.
I mean, I like the style. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they just kind of mixed things up a little bit. Like, we were so used to, like, just kind of like, we're just going through the motions every week.
Mhm.
And to have something where it's a little bit of style, a little bit mix things up. And I loved that kind of dark humor, that kind of thing, like, do you need anything? Walk away.
Yeah.
You sure you don't need anything?
And he's like super close in her hair.
Right. The bartender there.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was nice. I wouldn't want it every week, but you can give me one episode to mix things up a little
It
bit.
was definitely cool. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. I think it was I think possibly my favorite so far.
Yeah,
Of this second half.
The second half after the
Yeah.
whole
Mystery.
Laura Palmer mystery thing's over. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. And I mean, I think we're learning more about Windom Earle. And I think, now that I'm thinking about this whole mask thing, I guess it does make sense that Cooper didn't know Windom Earle was out of the elevator, because he also got into his room and put the mask there. So it's kind of this sense of like...
He would have been like, I felt him here.
Yeah, and then maybe he would have been more questioning when he got to his room. Whereas because he didn't realize he was in the lobby, Windom Earle, it was kind of like, it was a surprise to say, hey, somebody's been in my room.
It makes
and,
sense.
Yeah. So I guess, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So, wow. I mean, that was a doozy. I think, there's a lot more to talk about because we're focusing on so many subplots.
Yep.
There's a lot more subplots.
There are.
So I feel like these episodes, there's a lot going on. But I'm kind of happy they're wrapping things.
They are wrapping some
things
stories up. They definitely. I think you're right. I think the little Nikki thing is pretty much wrapped up.
Is it nailed? Is it done?
I think so.
Oh, Ben.
No, I
you can
think-
tell me
no,
the
no,
truth. You
I
can tell me the
honestly-
truth.
If I remember right, I should remember right because I've watched it for 25 years, but I think that is wrapped up.
Oh, God,
And
I
it
hope
seems
so.
like it appears that, at least that the Evelyn James. I mean, I don't. Where else do you go? She's based.
Well, God, I don't know.
No. I think that's pretty much wrapped up.
Oh, God, I hope so.
And then, do we have another story wrapped up? I guess at least those.
So they can really focus on these bigger mysteries.
Yeah, let's hope they spend more time on Windom Earle.
Yeah, let's hope. I don't want James and Evelyn to like. I want James and Donna to figure out how to get back home and never leave the house again. Like, just don't leave the house.
Yeah.
Just stay there. You guys are not good at directions and stuff.
And last week I asked you about Windom Earle. What do you think about him in this episode? How do you feel him as a villain? He's not what you thought he'd be, but...
No, but he's cool. I think he's creepy and he's he's clever. He's out there.
Diabolical.
Yeah, he's very you're gonna make me say the word wrong too.
I know. I should say
diabolical. He's very
diabolical,
diabolical, and he's very it's kind of like this very TV friendly version of like the killer from Seven or something. He's like this clever guy, and he could possibly cut someone's head off and put it in a box.
Yeah.
What's
in the box?
What's in the box? But he's like a TV. He's like a TV version of James. That character from Seven there.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about,
yeah.
but I can't think of that right. That.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of cool and stuff. It's interesting to see with the new season. I mean, they can get away with a lot more on Showtime too. And I mean, you're talking 25 years later. I mean, even network TV now is a lot more violent than it was in the 90s.
Yeah. And like you said, Showtime's really going to allow them to get crazy.
I mean, they can at least they have a lot more flexibility to do, because we wouldn't have a character cutting off a head and putting it in a box, but now we might do that.
Yeah, we could do that.
I think about the shows like 24 that got away with a lot of violence and stuff, and not to say that you need to have the violence, but I mean, if they want to,
or the after violence
Yeah.
too. You don't show it, but they could like show you the after.
Yeah.
Well, Walking Dead has a lot of violence.
Yes, it sure does.
So, I mean, stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens next week. I'm very excited, Ben. I'm enjoying it so far.
Cool.
I'm not disappointed. Like I said before, some stuff's kind of wonky and weird, but all in all, it's not that bad.
Yeah. I'm enjoying it. I mean,
Yeah.
I think I've said this, even though I say there's things that aren't perfect about this show,
Yeah.
I feel like every episode has some kind of gems. I feel like every episode is like, oh, I learned more about the White Lodge, or, or you get more about Cooper's background, or,
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, so it's good stuff.
I'm very excited. And if you want to join in the conversation, you can go to Facebook, Twin Peaks Unwrapped. You can send us some messages. If you hear something, we actually got a message not that long ago about our Mulholland Drive episode. Someone posted some photos saying it was a dream. It was a fever dream.
Fever dream.
With the Hollywood logo and the Mulholland Drive logo kind of representing each other.
Huh.
It's kind of interesting.
That's really cool.
So, if you have things that we talked about, please share it with us on
I love hearing other people's
Facebook.
theories, and we've got a couple good emails from people who have shared their theories, and I love that stuff. And
Yeah,
it's really
you
cool.
can email us too, your theories or comments or questions or anything.
Right, and talking about theories, it won't be pretty soon. I think we're gonna get Joel Bacco back on.
Yes.
Soon. I mean, I some days I
Soon.
was like, I wish we could have him on every week, but it's like, we gotta spread it out and stuff. Excuse me. But yeah, I think we'll have him on maybe in a few weeks or so.
Very excited for having Joel
Yeah, kind
on.
of see what he thinks of mid-season of second season here.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear his thoughts.
Yeah,
So,
cool. So what else did we say? TwinPeaksUnwrapped.com. You can find all our podcasts. We already mentioned Twitter, Twin Peaks Unwrap.
Nope. Get us on Twitter, and you can also email us at twinpeaksunwrapped@gmail.com. Send us everything you have questions about, and please subscribe, rate, or comment on iTunes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That would be
We're
really
on
cool.
Stitcher, and we're on TuneIn, so you can listen to us on TuneIn, Stitcher, and iTunes.
And of course, we're on Facebook and Twitter, so that we post our podcast there.
And we're on
every
Reddit.
Wednesday.
We
and Reddit. Yep.
We've been posting stuff on Reddit too.
And I've started posting some stuff on DugPa, the forums there. Stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're everywhere.
We're
Yeah.
everywhere.
Cool.
Just like Windom. Just like oh God.
Windom Earle.
Not Windom Earle, but Bobby's dad.
Oh, Major Briggs.
Major Briggs.
We're in the shadows.
We're in the shadows, just like
Bryon
Major
and Ben
Briggs.
are in the shadows.
Oh, I almost said Agent Mulder. I have X-Files on the mind, and I always called him Agent Mulder.
That would be awesome. Or you could have said Scully's dad.
I know, but I didn't want to say it wrong. But yeah, Major Briggs were in the shadows.
Yeah. So I thought we could leave with this show with Shannon Fenn mentioning about Diane Keaton directing. It's very
cool.
short. It is. It must have been during 1991, and it was on E! And I think they start off by saying in season 3 of Twin Peaks, which there are only 2 seasons, but it's kind of funny.
Well, it's E!
It's E!
So they have no idea
always
what
have
was
their
going
facts
on.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Meanwhile, Ben continues in her 3rd season of Twin Peaks as Audrey, and she reveals to us that Diane Keaton just directed one of the new episodes. Now that Keaton's done several rock videos and a China Beach episode, it seems she's being taken very seriously as a director.
It was wonderful. She's a really very giving director. She knows what she wants, and she's kind of, she doesn't need to hit you over the head to get it. She's very good at communicating. It was fun. I wish I had more to do on that particular episode,